How to heal when we don't have access to therapists.
It's a hard one because certainly I've benefited myself from being with therapists when I've needed to. But at the same time, I have to tell you that most of my healing did not happen through therapists. I mean, I did resort to that when necessary, but that wasn't that often. Now, I'm not saying it's not important. It can be very important. But yeah, how do you do it without it? Well, first of all, just by recognizing that you need healing, you've already taken a major step forward. There's a lot of people out there that don't even realize that they need healing. They think they're whole, they think they're together, or they just think that whatever state they're in is the way it's supposed to be, that life is just like that. They don't even know that there's an alternative way of being. And they don't know that there's an alternative way of being, in the lack of which they're creating suffering for themselves. So if you recognize that about yourself, you're already way ahead of the curve. That's the first point. The second point is there are modalities that can be very helpful that don't cost anything. And I'm talking about mindfulness-based modalities. And there's a million of them taught on the YouTube. No cost at all. Or you can pick up some books by people like Tara Bach, Sharon Salzberg, Jack Kornfield, Rick Hansen, many others. Wonderful ways of, John Kabat-Zinn, of course, many ways of working with stuff without having to go to a class, without having to attend a therapist. More broadly speaking, there are books that can teach you about trauma. I mean, my books, every single one of them, but certainly 3 of them, they really go into not just the ways that trauma happens and how it shows up, but also how to work with it. And there's many other books by Peter Levine, In an Unspoken Voice, or Waking the Tiger, Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps the Score, the work of Bruce Perry, psychiatrist and teacher and neuroscientist. There's a book I recommend for everybody. It's called The Presence Process by Michael Brown. Now, I don't agree with Michael Brown's views on life in a lot of ways from when I understand them, but that book is a gem. And it's all about how recognizing within yourself the programming that has you behave the way you behave, the programming from childhood that has you reacting in ways that have nothing to do with the present. So that's called The Presence Process. I highly recommend to people